What's up, guys? It's David back here with another video. Today we're gonna be just scooting around town on the Grom, and we can go here. So basically I'm gonna be giving my reasons why I think that the Grom is a good bike and it isn't, kind of the pros and cons of owning a Grom. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So my first reason, or I'm not even gonna go like that. I think that a Grom, I'm just gonna kind of free flow this. I think that a Grom is a great bike, don't get me wrong. I've had two at this point, and I really love my Grom, I really do, and I wish that I could keep it forever, but it's my only bike, and that's kind of my first thing. A Grom is not a really good only bike, because if you're not like me, and which most people aren't, you need to be able to drive on the interstate, and a Grom can, but it can't really maintain over 55. With me, I'm 155 pounds soaking wet, but a Grom can't really maintain over 50s, 60s really well. It's kind of good for like your local area, just going around town like I'm going to be doing in this video right now. And all this that I'm going to be going and driving and riding on is going to be 45 and under. So that's kind of my first thing. Another thing is a Grom is not a good bike to learn on. People think, oh man, it's a... Why not? The Grom's really slow, right? Like I'm full throttle right now. You'd think that it's a really slow bike. It's, for me, honestly, and for anyone, it should not be your first bike unless it is going to be your only bike that you're going to kind of keep forever. It is okay to learn the basics on a Grom, but basically my reasoning behind the Grom not being a good first bike or beginner bike is the fact that you can learn to drive a manual or a motorcycle, like learn the clutch, learn where a rear brake is, learn all this, but a Grom is not very good to learn on because there's no throttle response like that. I mean, a little bit, like a little bit of a bump, but you're not gonna be respecting something like 400cc or 500cc, and definitely 600cc and liter bikes. You're not gonna respect that. So if you go from a Grom to a 600cc, you're going to most likely hurting yourself because you don't have a concept of throttle control, and it's really hard to just explain that while I'm riding on a Grom. But basically you can just crank it and you have no repercussions of what you're doing. Another thing about a Grom that is a negative is that riding with friends, that is definitely a negative, because your friends, they're all gonna have 400cc beginner bikes like a Ninja 400 or a KTM 390, RC 390, or even like a GSF or a GSX 500 like I had. Basically, you're not going to be able to go on group rides because of your bike choice. And it kind of sounds very stupid to say, but what's up, brother? But basically, you're not going to be able to go on group rides. You're going to be full throttle the whole time. You're going to get left behind. It's going to suck for you because you're just pegged out, tucking, and you're getting nowhere. But the Grom has a place and a purpose. You have to understand that purpose to really know why you should want to get a Grom. And like I said, a Grom is a awesome second bike, but not a great only bike. And it is my only current motorcycle, and I will explain to you why. We're not getting this light, but basically the reason that it's my only motorcycle is this road that we're going to leads me to my job, and my job is only down a 45-mile-per-hour zone and 40-mile-an-hour zone and 35-mile-an-hour zone. So a Grom does that perfectly fine, gets 100+ miles a gallon, and is excellent for that. And I also wanted to learn how to wheelie on a bike, which a Grom is excellent at that. And yeah, I mean, that's my reasoning for why it's my only bike, and it could be your reasoning, which is perfectly fine. But don't let anything I say to you just completely control what you're going to do, because obviously I don't know everything. But if you basically have to go on the interstate, the Grom is not the bike for you, and you need to understand that. You can take alternate routes, and it's going to take you longer to get to work. It just depends. I have a 20-minute ride. It would be, I think, 15 minutes on the interstate, so it's 5 minutes difference. But I make that sacrifice because I love the freaking Grom. Alright, I feel like that's kind of enough downplaying the Grom. So the Grom, let's talk about what it's really good at. It is really good to learn the basics on. Say you have a buddy who has a Grom, and oh, I thought that was another Grom, I'm an idiot. Basically you have a buddy who has a Grom, like I would be your friend, and you want to just hop on a bike, test out the waters of what a motorcycle feels like with rear sets opposed to a moped. But that it's really great at getting you kind of the basics down. It is really great to be a stunt bike, which is a massive thing in Groms, and it's really good to get you into wrenching, which all motorcycles are like that, because you can basically take a whole motorcycle apart very fast, which is awesome. Like, you can take a whole, basically down to the motor in an hour or two. Like, it's nothing too crazy. I mean, maybe 3-4 hours if you're unexperienced. But a Grom, there's such a massive community for these things. You can slam it, stretch it, put a stunt cage on it like I have. You can do whatever. I mean, you can just ride your ride, keep it stock, mod it, do whatever, make it loud, do whatever you want. Oh my goodness, we can't drive. But basically, don't let anything I say or anyone says prevent you from getting what kind of bike you want. If you're set on getting a RC 390 as your first bike, don't let the negative stuff about it prevent you from it. But you just need to understand why you're getting that as your first bike. Like, you don't want to just go, oh, I'm gonna get a S1K as my first bike, and understand and respect any bike that you're going to be riding, obviously. But yeah, I kind of got a little bit sidetracked there. But yeah, the Grom is awesome and bad. You just got to kind of see where you're at. If you're like me and you don't mind going a little bit out of your way here and there, and you live in the city-ish and you can commute on a Grom, awesome, go ahead, go for it. I completely encourage you to. The Groms are awesome, and for the same reason that they're not so good, you can full throttle it everywhere and you're not going to be speeding, which is awesome. Like, let's send it right here. That's redlining, baby. Like, alright, solid 10 or so seconds I'm on the gas and we hit 45, not even. But you're not really going to get a ticket on a Grom unless you're doing stupid stuff like wheelies on the road. And I mean, it is possible to speed. You could be going in a school zone or a 35 zone and be full tucking going 55. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of pretty much, there's not a lot of bad things about a Grom. It's just you have to consider the bad when you're purchasing a Grom. Say you have a, I don't know, you have a 600cc bike, it's your second or third bike, you're very experienced, you know, hey man, I think Groms are sick, I want to get one. Go ahead, dude, go ahead and get one. I think that's a great idea, especially if you want to learn how to do wheelies or anything. I mean, take me for example. I am not great at wheelies. I'm still completely, oh, my blinker's still on, noob. But I am not great at wheelies or anything, but the Grom, it is a very hard bike to learn wheelies on, but it's very forgiving in the sense that you throw a cage on it, you throw handlebars on it, and like a clutch, you should basically be able to learn how to do first gear wheelies and learn how to clutch up. It's not like a 600 or 1000 where you can power wheelie in a sense. Like a 1000cc you can definitely power wheelie, but 600cc's first gear you might be able to yank and power wheelie it up essentially. But the Grom teaches you good mechanics of learning what a clutch up is. So speaking of clutch up, I'm going to try one here. Little baby clutch up. Nobody behind me. I'm still not that comfortable, but that's okay. We're all gotta start somewhere. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the motorcycle content. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Peace.